I'm Amy, also known as Janitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 449.
Cool.
Yeah. How have you been?
Good. Yeah, a lot going on.
Hmm.
Chaos as usual, right? We're in August, right? So now I have a
Hmm.
kid going off to college this month.
Hmm.
It is very
Same,
real.
same. Yeah.
Yep. So we're getting in last minute dentist appointments and haircuts and trying to think of what else. But yeah, just trying to prepare everything. I just ordered some of those like they're kind of like the Zip IKEA duffel bags, but IKEA doesn't sell those anymore. So I went to Amazon and found a dupe. And
Hmm.
so giant, soft-sided carry-all for our bedding and clothes uh, into
Look at you go. Yeah.
college. Yeah. And then I'm going to buy those big totes that you put in your garage that stack really well. They're black, they're very industrial. Um, and I think they have clear versions of that, but I think I'm going to go with the black for the stuff that doesn't go into the heart, like the lamp, whatever,
Yeah.
utensils, things like that.
Yeah.
So I have a coworker who's very, very organized, and she gave me this list, and I was like, okay, I think that's a good idea. Because basically, when you go to drop your kids off at college, you kind of like at drop off, right? At school, you line up in a line and then you
Hmm.
unload all your stuff onto the ground and it's tagged the room number for your kid and then it goes whisking away, right?
Mm.
So I just wanted to make sure that I had things that were very contained, and only like 4 parts or 5 parts, so that when I got to the room, I knew everything was there. Kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, and that
Kind of
was,
like the McAllisters in Home Alone. You can count the number of kids. Make sure not to count the neighbor kid.
right, right, right. Yeah. So I figured two soft side, two hard side, four. But, once we get down to actually packing the things, maybe it'll end up being like three and two. I don't know.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. I was telling folks last night, like I kind of learned through the whole college application experience with my graduate and new freshmen, college freshmen, that like if we start trying to drive some of the planning, she like rebels against it and does it last
Oh,
minute. So I'm trying to be like, hey, we can help in any way possible, but not try to like take over the whole planning situation. I don't know if I'm going to be able to last too much longer in this game of chicken.
yeah. I have a leaf in the wind kind of kid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, this
so
is like I can handle this and you guys don't need to plan it for me. And not only that, you're like trying to make me do it when I don't want to do it sort of reaction.
yeah,
And so then it actually delays things more than if
yeah,
I just like let it be her idea.
yeah. Well,
Love
I mean,
you if she's watching this someday.
here's an example.
Yeah.
Again, also love my kid very much. He is smart, kind, and will do very well in life.
Yeah.
Um, I just, uh, what was I going to say? Just that,
Example.
oh, an example is that we're like, oh, he's going to need a new computer. The computer he has right now, you have to hold the charger just a certain way to be able to charge it, things like that. So I was like, hey, research what kind of computer you want so that we can buy you what you want, and hasn't done it, So it's like, okay, he's going to end up getting what we decide is good for him. And so that's kind of how he is with everything. Like you would think like, oh, well, you would get to have some decision power, and he just like doesn't want it, at least not
Yeah.
in certain cases, certain things.
Yeah,
So
agreed, agreed. I'm not, yeah, this is not that is not a criticism of my daughter. It's just learning how other people's personalities interact. Like I am definitely somebody that is anxious and I use planning to decrease my anxiety, right? And so I've been yeah, trying not to overplan and project that planning anxiety on her. Putting a lot of my anxiety into Tunisian crocheting a blanket.
Yeah, get this done.
That's my prep. May not have things packed up, but we'll have a nice woolen blanket of many colors. So, you know.
Well, and I mean, Madison's a wonderful town,
Mhm,
and it is truly, I mean, it's farther than my college town, but
mhm.
it's still close enough, you know.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
if
true.
things are
It's
needed,
meet
we can,
halfway,
yep,
exchange things. Yeah, yeah.
yep.
Um,
So yeah,
anyway, all of that to say, can't believe it's August already. I still do have a few things to wrap up. Some shipping things to do from ZK, and then I think, yeah, Amy, you're kicking off the next ZK planning session already. I'm not ready for it, but it is August. Uh, so
yeah.
yeah, that's very exciting. And then we have, so it's just August 1st. So I'm giving you one more week to, or at least today, to get your self-striping in for July. And we'll draw for that next podcast. And then we also drew the winners for our quarter, our quarterly adventure. And so yeah, congrats to those folks. You got an email, but
Mhm.
we can announce here as well.
Yeah, so Memphis Holly and Burdette were our winners from all
Mhm.
of the people who completed that quarter's challenge.
Yeah,
Um, this quarter should be fairly simple to get to the three that you need to get enrolled in the prizes. So we're really excited for that. I did
quite a
gather all of,
friend.
right. I did gather
Yeah,
all of the
no,
prizes. So Megan and I will go through those and choose some for this quarter, and then we'll
yeah.
announce those as soon as we've chosen.
Yeah, yeah. My current quandary is that I made that Fiberfest shawl, and
Mm,
it has. I'm missing the neck category because I'm going to try to go for all the categories from our first quarter's
beginning.
challenge,
Yep.
and then the second quarter challenge. It also had brioche, but you can
Hmm.
only use one project for one category, and so I don't have another brioche and I don't have another neck. So I have to decide if I want to do another neck or I want to do some more brioche.
Hmm.
Or maybe I could just quite literally make another Fiberfest because I really loved that and the combination of colors and the using the single ladies out of my stash. But yeah, that's my current quandary. And again, some fun there as far as everything that you knit this year counts. I'm sorry that we got lost our way in some of that. I think confusing ourselves in yeah, in a nice little spin out. But yes, everything that you have knit this year can be used, and one pre 2024 whip per quarter. And yeah, there's still time to get caught up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. It makes it simple, right? Because it works very similar to the self-striping, right?
Yep.
There's always an opportunity to catch up in self-striping, but also anything that you've started in this year can count.
I think
So
that was for me more than it was for you. He was like, don't confuse yourself. Remember, it's just like the self-striving. I think the ZK rules got woven in
yeah.
there in my head. And yeah, talking to people, it's fine. Wording is hard. I tried to state it more clearly on the form for myself and others as we merrily roll along. Yeah,
Yeah. No,
excellent.
absolutely. And we like this style, so we're gonna think of a new theme, hopefully for
Mhm.
2025. So um,
So fun.
oh,
Just thought I'd let you know. Like we were both like, maybe we should announce it on the podcast and then send the email. And I was like, no, it's been a while since the beginning of the quarter. Like send the email. And Burdette is out in the comments and she won and had not seen the email yet. So we got the best of both worlds.
awesome.
Yes. Congratulations.
Yes, yes, you can go review your email and then contact me.
Yeah, excellent.
So I guess we
Favorite
were going to talk
things?
about their favorite things. So I
Yes.
told you that mine were a little off topic. So I'm going to start with the thing that's kind of on topic, is that I am still journaling
Oh.
in my knitting journal. So, before we had our Pinza totes, I had my journals. So
Oh.
I've got a lavender loon, a woolens and nosh, an Aluma slothy. This is actually from Duluth. It reminds me of my Aluma slothy team. And then, anyway, and then there's this kind of Illuminati thing that I got from it's knitting themed. Anyway, so I've been working on this. And again, it's only a page per month. And you can kind of see how busy July was because I had to do all the spinning in the same. I like crossed it out and put Tour de Fleece up here. And then I ended up casting on a bunch of things along the sides, like because I was knitting more than I thought I would.
Hmm.
And, along the bottom, and it's really messy. But you can see June, because of the retreat, was very clean.
Yeah.
Not much knitting, just the salty air to get that done in time to wear it. And
Hmm.
then we have August.
August.
So I really enjoy this. It's one of my favorite things. I also went to Office Depot recently, or Office Max, and I found this highlighter that is now one of my favorite things. Oh my gosh, it's got a fine tip
Ooh.
and the bigger, and it is so bright. It's bright, bright, bright. So just
Office
a really
supplies.
fun, yes, office supplies are a favorite thing. Absolutely. And then I
Yes.
just
Yeah.
got this one from Eat Sleep Knit. So
Ooh.
rainbowy, and it's a really nice
Yeah.
quality one.
Hmm.
Reminds me of the ones that I get from my accountant, they're always a good pen.
I have the same accountant, and I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
It's a really nice pen.
I think
And then,
it's in their like charter. If you're an accountant, you have to have sturdy pens because you're asking people to sign things. And yeah.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. So my knitting journal is one of my favorite things. And so
That's
I thought I'd
awesome.
bring that in.
How long have you been doing that? Do you have a streak going back to?
Um, yeah, it doesn't have the years on it, but the September was my first month, and it's definitely, let's see how many pages we got here. It's definitely more than 6 pages, so it's more than a year.
Yeah.
Six, it's like 2 years.
Cool.
Yeah, or will be in
That's
September.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
and
able to
again,
look back, and they say a lot of writing also really helps cement. I mean, I know you're not trying to necessarily remember these things, but actually be able to reference them again
yeah,
later. But like a lot of like handwriting, like we miss that with just our typing. Yeah.
I'm trying to find a good example of one. So like I have a list at the top, and then I
Mhm.
kind of box it down at the bottom where it's got sections. So like, oh, I finished the hem, I've done the body, I need to do the sleeves. And
Yeah.
then it's just a little like progress check mark that I can do. Sometimes to motivate, right? Because I've done it to where I'm like creating little boxes for each inch of something because it needs some motivation for me to add
Mhm.
another inch to it. And yeah, so it's just a journal. I've
Yeah.
been using it for a couple years now, and it's very low stress. Sometimes I fill it in. Oh gosh, it's already been a week or two or three, and I'm like, oh, what have I been working on? What have I finished? And I just recreate it. It would just be the top part. I'm not going to recreate the bottom part. The bottom part's more about motivation. But the top part's just the record of what I worked on. So, and you can see in August, some of mine have question marks behind them because I wound the yarn and I haven't started them yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, another doodle? Question mark? Amy? Question mark? The yarn is there. I might start it. I might focus on the other three to get them done. I don't know. But anyway, that's one. And then the other thing that somebody I was watching online or following online was doing a no spend August. So I was like, I don't know if I necessarily need it to be a no spend 100%, right? It's not like the budget's tight or anything like that. But um, I do think that that would help me focus on certain things. So I'm doing a no spend for myself. That's yarn, clothes, nice toiletries, makeup, whatever you might want to buy for yourself. And um, as a nice pick me up or whatever, we got a no spend for the month of August. And so I think it'll allow me to focus on some house projects that I need to do, because then that'll be like, oh, I can buy new paint because then the new paint is something new, but it's something for the house. Uh, and anyway, and then as part of that, I'm also doing a clean out. So I started with a certain section of my closet last night because I was motivated. I know it wasn't August yet, but I was like, I'm motivated. I'm going to clean this out. So I got rid of all of my pants that don't fit me anymore. So now the only thing in my closet that is in there is something that fits me. So, and then we have a cleaning lady. She's very near and dear to us, Barb, but she has a clothing ministry. So all of those clothes will go to somebody free of charge, and they'll get some nice jeans. So and
Awesome.
pants. So I'm excited to continue on and do that with other sections of my clutter. You know, like what am I keeping or holding on to that doesn't fit me anymore?
Hmm.
Physically, or mentally,
Hmm.
what
Yeah.
is out there that doesn't fit me anymore? And so, as part of this, I'm also kind of trying to do accountability. So you might see on my Instagram my picture of my pile of clothes that I pulled out of my closet, or and I'm not going to be like an everyday blah blah blah, but I am going to, when I post, it's going to be about this no spend August. And so hopefully that'll motivate me. Like if I haven't posted in a while, I'm like, okay, let's get something going that I can post about. I don't know, just trying to make several different actions to help motivate me. Like I said, no spend will help me motivate me to do things for the house. Like again, I have this wall. It had some stuff stuck to it. I need to clean that wall and get it prepped so that I can repaint
Hmm.
it so that it looks nice again. I've just been kind of doing one of these as I walk past it. So,
Yep.
yep, just little things like that, get it done.
Yeah. It's funny to
No
me
spend
that you
August.
mentioned these favorite things. And like I feel like we've got some pretty parallel things going on. I don't have a nice paper journal, but I have been tracking my progress on my Tunisian crochet, right? So I'm down to the last three squares. But I was definitely like tracking almost like velocity. Again, I think we've talked
Mhm,
about this in previous podcasts, so that I could track whether or not it was going to get done in time and motivate as well, right? Like sometimes the
mhm,
math can be demoralizing, sometimes the math can be motivating. Definitely think I'm going to have to do that with the ends, because I think if
mhm,
I'm being conservative, I've maybe woven in 30 of the squares as ends, and that leaves
mhm.
162 of
Ooh,
the. So yeah, I've got a lot, or I could leave it fringy. But I've been tracking that in like a Google Keep note, versus on a piece of paper. But like every day, you can see the number of squares that I've done and how I'm marching down the path of finishing it up. Very similar to what you're doing in your journal. And then yeah, very, very similar. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with Burdette watching, that we need another loose ends party, right? Get our local knitters together. We can get your ends done.
It'll be okay. I actually like so like tip. I know sometimes we combine like our favorite things and tips now. Like I feel like Tunisian crochet is not as bad to weave in the ends, like if you're
Right.
looking at a nice alternative for a blanket, because like there are some nice like very stockinette like sections, but also like there's a hollow channel
Hmm.
with which that you've done that back pass. And so I feel like they weave in pretty easily and
Yes,
pretty
they do.
cleanly.
Yep.
So like it is kind of a more satisfying and less anxious experience for me. I'll see what I say when I get to the 100th end or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And then yeah, my closet, I think it's now been 3 springs that I've been telling myself I want to spring clean. Recently went to Target and bought a tote because had an idea about the way that the my existing like sweater bins could fit inside the tote. So like if you're my husband, you're like Megan buys totes to put into the closet, but they sit in front of the closet and they fill up with knitwear that she spends knitting time on versus like actually cleaning up the closet. So like it's starting to hit like a mass. And like I have, I don't go into the office anymore. And I like half of my closet is my work attire.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I really need to go through mine and be like, okay, this is something that when I do go into the office, on some of my business travel trips will be like something that I would pack, or is it not? So
Hmm.
I also have that on my list, kind of top of mind of like leading by example with some of the
Hmm.
future, college packing going on. So yeah, very similar. Like we didn't talk about these things before podcasted, but living pretty parallel lives apparently. And then I did have so I love your no spend August. I think again that would be very motivating to feel like not only that you are netting less, but you're cleaning up some of the clutter that maybe some of your previous purchasing has created.
Hmm.
um, I sent you the pattern for a bag that was like a
Hmm.
zip up, but it was like you had to sew it.
Oh,
Um, and so
yes, that
I've
was
been
fun.
looking, yeah, out on Etsy to try to find somebody else that's making one. I did not find the exact one, so the form factor is a little different, but I did get this Owlet's Handiworks
Okay.
bag. It's a nice like rectangle with
Hmm.
a handle here,
Hmm.
and a two-sided zipper, and it does have some yarn in it. Uh, but like the sides zip down, and then it opens up and has kind of a tray here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to
Oh, yep.
show it. Yeah, with the edges.
Hmm.
So I've not knit out of it yet. But I'm super excited. I love the different colors. There's kind of like a woven
Oh, yeah, no,
color
it's
here.
perfect colors.
And it closes up like that. So excited about that. In some of the photos I was seeing, you could put your pencils and office um, supplies in here as well. If you were more of like I'm going to have like a coloring project
Cooler,
on the
yeah.
go. But yeah, I'm going to try it out with knitting. These are the makings of a campfire, possibly.
Ooh,
Still
okay.
trying to wrap my brain around whether or not this is some Lindy chain.
Campfire or bonfire?
Bonfire, you're right, Bonfire.
Okay. Sorry. I was like, what's a
By Sam
campfire?
Garrett. Yes,
Yeah.
by Sam Garrett. And then this is a new to me, Pearl Soho, for whatever reason, their bases recently have been calling my name. They've got a
Okay.
cotton linen one that I've
Yeah,
been
I've been
looking
getting
at.
their emails, so I'm curious.
Yes. You might want to unsubscribe for no purchase August. But yeah, this is linen quill. I asked about
Mhm.
this on ZKN, and I believe it was Diane was like, "Oh, that's great. I love that base." So I had to give it a try. It's 50% Highland wool, 35% alpaca, so no Amy, and 30 and
Mm.
15% linen. Um, but yeah, I think these will pop against each other, but the different textures of like a
Mhm.
pure linen chain, Lindy chain is, I can't remember how much linen. It's not pure linen. 70% linen, 30% Pima cotton, and like something a little fluffier. I think
Mhm.
it will make a nice juxtaposition, but also I'm like curious about how it's going to knit up at different, this is definitely will be fluffier on the needle, but like how it will, I may end up having to swatch. What? But yeah, that those two came together post ZK, because walking
Mhm.
around looking at all those beautiful bonfires, not campfires. Um, but yeah, really, really well made bag. And then she very sweetly threw in a little side pouch with
Oh, clip.
a
Nice.
clip. Yep. Um, so yeah, Owlettes, Handiworks, Diane Owlette. Magic pouch is what it is. So to give my magic pouch a test and see if it is truly magic. But yeah, those are some of my favorite things. I think I would be able to string myself along with your no purchase August, no buy August as well, because I've got some clubs that automatically show up at my house and I haven't been opening them. I'm saving them for a rainy day, and I think the August no buy would be my rainy day. But
Yeah, so I guess along those same lines, because when I was buying those IKEA bags or the IKEA knockoff bags,
Mhm.
um, you had to buy six um, because it's Amazon. And I think I'll only need two or three of them for my son.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking I might have to do the destash declutter of my yarn and put one of those bags together that will be destash. I know that I went to an event once where somebody, I believe it was Rihanna, had plopped down a big bag of yarn that she no longer desired and said, $5, whatever you want, and so, people pulled out and gave her like $5 per skein. And it's beautiful, wonderful yarn. It just wasn't suiting her anymore. And that $5 price tag just kind of like it went, everybody found something they wanted and pulled it out. I think I got two skeins out of there of a dyer I had not used before. And yeah, so I think that something along those lines for my less loved and is no longer fitting me um skeins will be good. So yeah, I recently sorted through my stuff. There's a lot of things that I do love and I don't want to get rid of. But I also didn't go through my bin of single ladies. So, and those are the fingering single ladies. It's the largest conglomerate of the stash. So that'll be the thing. I'll go through that box again and try to pare down. I don't think it'll be a full tote. Just I already have a small one, um, small bin that I had done. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's another goal. Gonna take that big bag and I'm gonna try
You
to
sense a color theme, you
consciously.
could also make a blanket like I'm making with
Oh,
with
that's
your
true.
single
That's
ladies.
true. If I just start pushing them down, I'm like, hey, that might make a nice blanket. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a very powerful feeling to feel like I think there's at least 28 single ladies in this blanket. So,
Wow.
yeah, and some scraps, which again, I seem to accumulate after every project and can't quite
Right?
convince myself that like I should just, whatever with it, right? Yeah.
Mhm. I have the same issue. I even sort them by color and have lots of little bins. Like I think I have 9 bins that are like color sorted
Yeah.
scraps. Um, I have a problem.
Yeah. Well, again, I can't now I'm telling myself, well, instead of like letting them accumulate and then try to find a project, maybe I should just like immediately have a project. I think you did that as well, right? Like
Yep.
you had a blanket that you were just kind of adding to as scraps came into your life.
Right. That
But
was just decay and yeah, it kind of stalled. Scraps
yeah.
of decay keep getting added to bag that that is not going into
Well, this is
blankets. But
fingering held double, so you could use DK in that blanket, or you could use the fingering
yep,
weight as well. So, like, yeah, I think that
very
that
true.
again, the fingering held double was kind of more of a wham, right? Because the single fingering weight was like, oh, but the blanket is very heavy, so there's that as well. A
Yeah.
pro or a con, maybe I don't know, but yeah,
Okay.
excellent. Well,
Right.
lots of favorite things.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Whoop. There we go. Ended.